But as far as quality, being a quality QB, I feel like he can match Sam Darnold of last year. He showed me some starting caliber traits last night while I was watching that game. For most of the game, Caleb Williams played with the lead. He played on top. He played with all the momentum. And he still lost to a guy who was playing on training wheels, playing his first ever real NFL game. Or should I say, he let that guy come back on him. Thank the Bears for this season opener. We really appreciate it. All the Vikings fans. I'm telling you, we got a lot of love for y'all today. As our division rivals, ain't even no smoke. Ain't no hate. Ain't no aggression. That was a beautiful way to start the season. And welcome back to MVP Sports on Mischief Entertainment, man. We are going to talk about the Vikings and the Bears, and it's time to talk about the Vikings and the Bears, man. I watched it from start to finish. It was my prime time game this week. Y'all know I'm a diehard Vikings fan. The microphone is blocking, the Vikings logo in the Minnesota, but you can see the purple and yellow. You can see the purple and yellow. Look, the Bears gave the Vikings a season opener that only a Bears team could. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. It was the most beautiful. It was the most beautiful football game I've seen in a long time. Listen, we're going to talk about the Vikings. We're going to talk about JJ McCarthy. We're going to talk about the Bears. And we're going to talk about Caleb Williams, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's get to it. Now, we're going to start this video off by talking about the Vikings and JJ McCarthy, man. The Vikings and JJ McCarthy. Listen, I feel like the Vikings played McCarthy scared to start the game, and it was hard to watch. It was one of the hardest things ever to watch. To know that the Bears' two best cornerbacks is out, and that this is how we're coming out and performing. To know that in most power rankings of the division that we're ahead of the Bears, and this is how we're coming out and performing. It was very hard to watch. And listen. There are levels to things. There are levels to things. And I'm just going to say this. Because I feel like they played McCarthy scared at the start. I know he didn't get that many preseason reps. I know they sent most of the team in there rusty because they didn't play anybody in the preseason. But still, I feel like they played them scared at the start. And that's what I'm going to say, because there's levels to this. Now, listen. Levels. There's motorcycle. I would say what's a level down from that? Electric bike. Then I would go a normal bicycle. Then I would go a bike with training wheels. You get the levels, right? Motorcycle to electric bike to a normal bicycle to a bicycle with training wheels. There's levels to these things. And this is what I'm going to say. At the start of the game, it felt like JJ McCarthy was put out there on a tricycle with training wheels and bubble wrap wrapped all around him. That's what it felt like. I'm going to be honest. Now, I get they didn't play anybody in the preseason, but I'm watching this game, and he was 1 for 2 in the first quarter. Let him get an opportunity to throw the football. By the end of the game, they played how I would have played them, which is make it easy for them, right? That's it. I'm going to let you be a quarterback, but I'm going to try to dial it down as much as I can because I know you're a rookie. Not training wheels, but make it basic. Are they blitzing? All right, let's go to the fast short read. Let's get it out. They're sending blitzers. Somebody has to be open. Let's get some motion going on the offense. Let's move some guys around. Is it man or zone? Can we get some tails? Let's give our young quarterback some things to look out there and make it easy for him. After that, let's do some screens. Why we can't do no screens? Some simple RPOs, 2-option RPOs. Let's make it very simple for him, but still give him the ability to be a quarterback. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. The simple stuff on offense. Let's do that so he can get in rhythm. This is his first NFL game. But by the end of the game, they played him how I would have played him, which is make it easy for him. And he found his rhythm. I liked seeing that bounce back from McCarthy. All right. I feel like I'm supposed to get into it later, so I didn't want to get into it now. I like his body language more than I like Caleb's. All right, when he made bad throws, when people had drops and stuff, the look on expression of McCarthy's face was more anger. You know what I'm saying? I seen it a couple times. Caleb Williams threw his head back inside, like, you know what I'm saying? It's different. It's like Caleb Williams was doing like the oh my god, and JJ McCarthy was doing the I gotta step it up. And I feel like you can see that as the game progressed. But anyways, my bad if I kind of wandered off towards the end of that, but we supposed to talk about Caleb Williams, so I ain't trying to get into it too much. I ain't trying to get into it too much yet. This is about JJ McCarthy and about the way he played. So the question is, how do I think this season will go for him and the Vikings? But, you know, mainly right now, just him, because we are all watching this quarterback spot because he is a rookie quarterback. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be absolutely fine. As far as quality-wise, I think he can match Sam Darnold of last year. I really do think he can do that. Now, that's not saying what the win-loss is going to look like, but as far as quality, being a quality QB, I feel like he can match Sam Darnold of last year. He showed me some starting caliber traits last night while I was watching that game. Over the game, he showed us he can adapt and play in rhythm. So over the course of the regular season, what do I expect? I expect him to adapt and find his rhythm as an NFL QB. I'm gonna be honest, okay? I saw you down, and then you kept fighting. When you adapt like that, it goes a long way for your character, okay? I loved seeing that. And I'm just gonna end this off, you know, this JJ McCarthy talk off with, hey, he's already outplaying Caleb Williams, so let's go. Let's go. You're already outplaying Caleb Williams. So, hey, JJ, I like what I'm seeing, man. You outplaying the #1 pick who's supposed to be the prodigy coming in the NFL. Your very first game. Hey, it started ugly, but it finished beautiful. And that's how we going to end this JJ McCarthy talk off with, man. The Vikings are going to be fine. JJ is going to be fine. I really do believe it's going to be a good season. And like I said, very talented team. The Vikings are a very talented team. If you see my division predictions video, I said this team was too good to be third or fourth. That's how I felt. And I feel like they kind of displayed that last night, being able to keep it a ball game throughout the entire game, despite everything else that was going wrong. And there was a lot going wrong for the first 3 quarters. But yeah, that sums it up about JJ McCarthy. He's going to be fine. He's going to adapt. And, you know, he going to be a very good quality QB. And I like seeing that from him. Remember, we got a great team. I ain't looking for someone to save today. I basically just want a Sam Darnold or a Case Keenum, because if you remember when Case Keenum was here, he had a nice little run too. I just want a Sam Darnold or Case Keenum who can run a little bit. That's all I'm asking for. I ain't even asking for Lamar Jackson. Just buy a little time in the pocket and make the right reads. And I feel like that's very, very possible in what we got in JJ McCarthy, man. But yeah, I got to end this JJ McCarthy talk up. So that's the end of that. So again, man, beautiful game I watched. Y'all know I'm a Vikings fan. Bears, division rivals. Such a beautiful game. It was such a beautiful season opener. And I want to thank the Bears and all the Bears fans everywhere for giving us, Vikings fan, this start to the season. To start off with the cheering and to end with the booing. To be down 3 quarters and the end come out with the win. It was such a beautiful start. Thank you, Chicago Bears, man. Thank you, man. Listen, I might go buy a button or something, you know. I can't go buy a jersey, but I go buy a little button or something. Y'all showed us love. Y'all showed the Vikings love. I'll show y'all a little love. But it's time to talk about the Bears now. It's time to talk about the Bears. Listen. At the time that I wrote this, right, because I wrote this as I watched the game, but I think, okay, so the Bears scored 10 points as an offense when I wrote this. By the end, I think they scored 17 as an offense. Caleb Williams got that late touchdown pass. But even with that being said, Caleb missed throws. And like last year, I didn't like his body movement after plays. I didn't. Dropping the head and sighing all of that, having those OMG moments, having those I can't believe this is happening moments, having those not right now moments. I don't like seeing that, man. I don't like seeing that. It's like last year, and it's like how I've said in some of my previous videos. He's young. And he acts like a child playing any game. Video game, hopscotch, tic-tac-toe, 4 in a row, you Xbox, PlayStation, any kid playing a game. That's how Caleb Williams acts. When he's doing good and things are well, he's happy. And he looks good. He's out in the field dancing. His body movement looks great. His arm mechanics, they look better. The start of the game, he looked good. But just like any kid, right? When things get hard, here comes the pouting. Here comes the sighing, throwing the head back, all of those things. On the other side of the field, I'm seeing JJ McCarthy look angry. Looking angry because he knows that he's supposed to perform better than this. And then what does he do after he does those looks? He comes out and starts making the best throws of the game. Caleb Williams' body movement isn't like that. Caleb Williams' animations aren't like that. Caleb Williams pouts, and he pouted the entire second half of the game, and he pouted his way into a loss. Let's be honest. For most of the game, Caleb Williams played with the lead. He played on top. He played with all the momentum. And he still lost to a guy who was playing on training wheels, playing his first ever real NFL game. Or should I say, he let that guy come back on him. He makes good throws. He makes good throws at times. I've seen him put a beautiful spiral on that football at times. But the problem is the bad throws and the volume of bad throws. Those misses, all of those missed passes he had at the end of that football game is why the Vikings were in the game. The Vikings won this game because of Caleb Williams. And there's no doubt. At least I have no doubt about it. Guys, when the opponent starts the way the Vikings started this game, you have to win. You have to win. Okay? Any top tier quarterback, they have a game like this with these circumstances and they're not able to pull out the win. We're going to talk about it as they underperformed. This is a game you got to win. As I watched this game and it got late in the game, I was betting on Caleb Williams to make bad throws and bad reads more than I was the Vikings defense to make good plays. Honestly, listen. And bad throw after bad throw, he kept the Vikings in the game. And he eventually let them take the lead, which led to a Vikings W. I said this already. If you split the NFL quarterbacks into 3 tiers or 3 levels with number 1 being the best, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, if you were to split the NFL quarterbacks into 3 tiers or 3 levels, right? I think at best, Caleb Williams is a tier 2 quarterback. And at worst, he's a tier 3 quarterback. It's nothing against Caleb. I'm just trying to analyze what I've been seeing out there on the field. And so far from what I've been seeing from Caleb, he's a tier 2. And that tier 1 great generational quarterback that we thought we were going to get, I don't think we're getting that. I don't think the Bears are getting that. The NFL fans aren't getting that. It doesn't seem to be happening. And again, this is nothing against Caleb Williams. He was the number 1 pick. The narrative was he was the next generational quarterback. So that's why we're talking about this. We're talking about it because it's a sports show. It's nothing against Caleb Williams. But like I said, over the last 3 years, 2 in the NFL and his last year in college especially, over the last 3 years, what I've seen from him is tier 2 quarterback. It's not tier 1. As always, I welcome players to prove me wrong. And if they do, I will give them their flowers and the credit they deserve. You know what I'm saying? There was a time where I thought Baker Mayfield wasn't the best quarterback. But that underdog story, y'all know I love Baker Mayfield. Y'all know I love Baker Mayfield. But it turns out it was more the Browns than Baker Mayfield. At least that's how I feel. So if Caleb Williams gets good, I won't have no problem giving him his credit. But as of right now, the play I'm seeing, this is how things are. It's not hate. It's just analyzing and looking at what's going down on the field. You know, if Caleb Williams comes out the next games and throws 5 touchdowns or has one of the best seasons in NFL history, you know, wins the MVP or something, I'm not going to come on here and say something like Caleb Williams trash. No, I'll give him his flowers. I'll give him his credits. Okay? And I'll bring up the fact that I counted him out being a tier 1 quarterback. I'll bring all that up. I'm not a hater. But as of right now, at best, Caleb Williams is a tier 2 quarterback. And again, like I always say, I always welcome players to prove me wrong. And if they do, give them their flowers, give them their credit. I'll shout them out and all of that. But that's my prediction for Caleb Williams. I don't think the Bears are going to do too good. I think Caleb Williams is going to be a tier 2 quarterback. That's the video. The Vikings are in good hands. JJ McCarthy is going to adapt and get that experience he needs and only get better as the season goes on. Thank the Bears for this season opener. We really appreciate it. All the Vikings fans. I'm telling you, we got a lot of love for y'all today. As our division rivals, ain't even no smoke. Ain't no hate. Ain't no aggression. That was a beautiful way to start the season. We got a lot of love for y'all. A lot of love. But that is going to be the video. I feel like I pretty much covered everything. I really do feel like this game came down to the young quarterbacks and who would adopt the best. The defenses on both sides, in my opinion, played really good. You know, they gave it their all. So at the end of the day, what it came down to was coaching the quarterback. And Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson got out-coached and out-quarterbacked, so the Vikings won the game. But it's not too much else to say. That's the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We out.